All right, welcome back to our house. I'm really excited to continue this series. It seems like y'all really liked it, and I enjoy it so much. I love talking about books, old books especially, even more so Robinson curriculum books. So in this video, we're going to talk about books 11 through 20. We're going to continue in the series. For those of you not familiar, the Robinson curriculum is a great self-teaching curriculum that focuses on reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the reading component part of it is this big book list that covers a variety of subjects. So math, they use Saxon math. Writing, they write daily. You correct it, give them feedback, and they improve on those skills. And reading, this is where we cover a lot of the other subjects. The books are very unique. They're very special. And so I hope to give you a little bit more appreciation for the books and the authors, as well as give you more confidence in the list. I know, especially for young moms, young children, they're busy. They don't have time to sit there and pre-read. So I hope this just gives you that confidence you need to just rest assured that this is a high quality list for your children to read. So with all that being said, let's get started. Number 11 is Childhood's Happy Hours. Now list this video in a playlist with book number 1. I wish I would have done this in the last video, but I'm also going to share with you under what category these books fall under. So this is literature. In the beginning part of the list, there's a lot of literature to get kids excited about books. So a lot of fiction, just fun stories. And then obviously we progress, and you'll see it even in this 10 book list, into other subjects. So number 11, this is a very extremely hard to find book. If there is a reprint, I always link it down below for you. But of course, with RC, you can print all of these books. You get the files, you can print and bind them. I have playlists on that you can check it out. It's very special. My most popular video on my channel, I think it's like over 200,000 views, which is a lot for this small channel, has to do with me printing one of these books. I think it just shows you like the love that goes into it, and kids really seem to appreciate it. But I have 6 kids, so after the years, they can get kind of worn down. That's why I like buying reprints and to show working parents out there, because for some parents, this is a barrier, the books, the printing of the books. So there are reprints out there. So I hope to cover it from all angles and just give you the confidence that you need in whatever situation you're in, that you can do this. So this is Childhood's Happy Hours, copyright 1879. It's a wonderful book. It's 49 stories filled with illustrations. Now, warning, they do suck up a lot of ink, a lot of black ink. So make sure you have an ink efficient printer. I have the Epson 2750. I have a video on that. It's like half a penny per page. I've only had to change the cartridges once. I mean, the black ink cartridge is $20, and that's with heavy usage. It's supposed to last you 2 years. It lasts me the first time around, I think, a year. I've only had to replace it once in a couple of years, but I print a ton, like a ton of books, a ton of other stuff. So yeah, it's very ink efficient. So if you're going to print out these books, you can look into Epson, or Brothers, I know, has another ink efficient printer. You can go to RC website and click on printer recommendations and find them there. So yeah, this is one of those books where it's extremely hard to find. So just keep that in mind. I also have a page on my website, sustainablehomeschooling.com/RC reprints, where I am listing the reprints that I find. Now, number 12, this is under the World History category, written by Josephine Pollard, and this is Christopher Columbus and the Discovery of the New World. I have a reprint here from Amazon that I think, they did a really good job. I like the text. It's a bit of a thicker book here. And again, this is written in that one-syllable word style that she's known for, and excellent vocabulary. Again, I talked about her in the first video. So if you want to learn more about Josephine Pollard, go ahead and watch that first part video. But, she just is known for having excellent vocabulary in her books and inviting children to come up to that level versus being condescending and kind of talking down that, just kind of very dumbed down children's book. This is not like that at all. Now, the next book also as well, number 13, The Bible for Young People. And I have the reprint from Amazon for that one as well here. Now, I did first print this. Heads up, it is a very big print job. The reprint does not have the really nice illustrations that the RC file has. So that's something to keep in mind. It's a big book, like I said, big print job. The way I did it was Old Testament, New Testament. I did a comb binding for each section. So it's not too daunting for young readers. It's a little bit more broken down. It's got great vocabulary. It's that Josephine Pollard style. And, there's a lot of benefits to reading books from the same author in the beginning of your reading journey. You really get used to their style of writing. It gives your mind, I think, just kind of a little bit of a break from, each author has their own writing style and vocabulary. So by focusing on the same authors in the beginning, I think it really gives a kid's mind that little rest of familiarity, if that makes sense. So moving on, number 14, 50 famous stories. I have the original here. This was published in 1920. Now, I want to give you a heads up. This is not the same as 50 famous stories retold by James Baldwin. This I know is very popular in Charlotte Mason circles, and you'll see the audiobook for this. It's a smaller book. I think this one from RC has a lot more stories. This was written by Samuel E. Lowe, again, not James Baldwin. He was born 1890 to 1952, born in Germany, came to the United States with his family as a young child, and he worked for the Western Printing Press shortly after World War I, and later served as president of the Whitman Publishing Company based in Racine, Wisconsin. I even read too that I think later on, at the end of his life, he worked with Walt Disney on some things. So if you want to make sure you're searching for the right book, look for Whitman. Whitman edition, 50 famous stories, Whitman Publishing, and Samuel E. Lowe. And it's stories like how Rome was founded, the Jewels of Cornelia, Horatius at the Bridge. These are the Boy Crusaders, stories that you probably are familiar with. And if not, they are just great stories to pass down. So that's that one. Number 15, 4 Naval Heroes. This book is just a real treasure. This was written by Mabel H. Beebe. I don't have a lot of history on her, although I look, she was born in 1892 and died in 1974. There's actually some discrepancy I've noticed with the dates. Some of them have her being born like early 1900s, just a few years there. But most Americans have no idea of the history that is in this book. So if you are one of those parents that you kind of are looking to give yourself the education you never had, this is a great book for that. Great vocabulary. It's not just the military history of these 4 naval heroes. It also just goes into American history in general. So this is under the American history category. And again, this is written by Mabel H. Beebe. If you can read the reviews on Amazon on this, parents just think it's a fantastic book. Any probably 8-year-old can read it. Maybe they might need a little bit of assistance with some words, but I don't think so. I think it's just very well written for children. But again, great vocabulary and invites you to come up to this level versus talking down. Now, number 16, The Rover Boys on the Great Lakes. I have a copy here. Now, the pen name is Arthur M. Winfield. And again, this is under the literature category, but his real name was Edward Streitmeyer. I hope I'm saying it right. And he let it be known that this was his favorite series. He wrote a lot of different series, but this one was his favorite. It has to do with brothers Dick the eldest, Tom and Sam the youngest, and they're sons of a wealthy businessman, Anderson Rover, and they live on the Hudson River Valley farm with their aunt and uncle. Now, he was born in 1862 and died in 1930. He was born, there's a lot of German authors here. He was born the youngest of 6 children in New Jersey, but both parents were from Hanover, Germany, immigrating to the United States in 1837. At the age of 26 in 1888, he sold his first story for $76, which was over 6 times the average weekly paycheck at the time. That's incredible. Now, he did work with Horatio Alger, which is another author on the RC book list. While he was kind of on his deathbed and dying, he asked Stratton Meyer to finish some of his manuscripts, and he did. But then after that, he wrote and published The Rover Boys, which became the most tremendously popular series in the vein of the whole classic dime novels. Now, there are other competitions. Obviously, at the time, there was the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, but this just has a place in history forever as being extremely popular. So that is the Rover Boy books by Edward Stratton Meyer, but under the pen name Arthur M. Winfield. And I'm pretty sure he's the one that wrote all the Rover Boy books. So then right after that, we follow up with another one, which is, let's see, I have a few here. It's The Rover Boys on the River, which I cannot find it here, but here's some of the other ones, what they look like. Rover Boys New York. I think if you have, like, for example, maybe I don't have the Rover Boys on the River, but I can substitute it for the Rover Boys on the Ocean, you know? So there's those, but they also have tons of reprints as well. You might have it as a reprint. And I think the reprints are, the font is a little small for me. This is by... which publisher is this? I'm not sure which one this is. If I can find a better reprint publisher, I'll let you know. But these, not my favorite. I think it's just a little bit small. But actually, when I look at the originals, it's not like that font is any bigger. So, yeah. And of course, you can print them as well. All right, number 18 is Five Little Peppers. I have a few here. Some of the originals, I guess. Five Little Peppers and How They Grew. I have a picture here of Five Little Peppers Midway, but it's supposed to be Five Little Peppers and How They Grew. Sorry about that. So this is under the literature category. This was written by Margaret Sidney, but that is a pen name also. Her real name is Harriet Lorthrope. I might have misspelled that one. Might have an R, Lorthrope. But this is about the Pepper family and their lives. They're poor but happy. Mamsie constantly has to work. But there's in the first book, I believe it's the first book, Phronsie is kidnapped and rescued by Jasper King. And then one by one, he rescued her. And then one by one, it seems like they all make their way to live with the King family. And they live sort of this luxurious life, as for that time. But the Peppers keep their high morals of hard work, humility, togetherness, thanks to the mom who has very much instilled that in them. So she really, Harriet, delighted in creating imaginary people from a young age. She wrote constantly, but she was always throwing it away or destroying it. So her first published story was in 1878 at the age of 34. She was writing short stories about Phronsie, which is the main character in Five Little Peppers. She was submitting them and they were getting published. And then her first Pepper book came out in 1881, the same year that she got married to Daniel Lorthrope. And, they had a great short but sweet life together. They bought the Wayside House, which is the house that Louisa May Alcott lived in. She gave birth at the age of 40 to her daughter. But then sadly, Daniel died in 1892 when Harriet was 48 and their daughter 9. So there's a gap in the book series. There's 11 books total. And so from year 1892 to 1897, she wasn't writing any books after her husband passed away. But then she went on and continued the series. And she also did a lot of other stuff, like she founded and was the first member of the Children of the American Revolution. She was in the Daughters of the American Revolution. And then she petitioned to create this new charter club or organization that I guess was more inclusive, right? Children of the American Revolution. She was very patriotic and she felt obviously that was really important to pass down. So I think she's really interesting. That's Harriet Lorthrope. So number 19 is Five Little Peppers Midway. And I think I have Five Little Peppers, The Adventure of Joe Pepper. We have Ben Pepper. There's quite a few in the series. Now, not all 11 are on the RC book list, but a few are. So I wanted to do a little timeout here, a case for reading series, because a lot of parents ask, do they really have to read all the books in the series that are on the list? And hear me out on this. There's many pros. There are many pros to do this. Number one, they are familiar with the characters already. They are familiar with the vocabulary that the author uses. That's a big plus. That familiarity helps increase success and understanding with each book in the series. So I have read this in countless articles. The best way to improve fluency is through repeated reading of familiar text. That's why you have some kids that want you to read the same book to them over and over again, right? And although that may be tedious for us, if they're reading it on their own, that's even better. But reread and reread those familiar texts. It really is the best way to improve fluency. And it helps readers make and refine predictions of what will happen in the story. We all love cliffhangers, right? Kids do as well. What's going to happen? What's next in the series? So, okay, you don't have to read every single book, but there is something really special about completing a series or reading several books in the series and seeing what happens to those characters, right? They become sort of like this little imaginary family for us. And it's even sad when we say goodbye and we're finished with the series. So that's why it's just a great thing to read series books. All right, so talking about series, book number 20 is The Rover Boys at College. I know I just had that one. But anyways, you get the idea. Now, I know there are a lot of Rover Boy stories and it's more boyish. So let's talk about maybe some things that you can replace it with for girls. I know for one of my daughters, I know I just had it here. Elsie Dinsmore. Also, The Outdoors Girls. That's by, I don't know, I think it's the same publisher. It's pretty much kind of like this, but all girl cast. Here we go. Here's the Elsie series. Elsie Dinsmore. I have found that my daughters really appreciated our family, our home, asked to help out more, a lot more, after reading Five Little Peppers and Elsie Dinsmore's. The stories about, especially thank God, for our blessings, if they're not in poverty, being able to read it and experience in other people's shoes, even if it is imaginary characters, but it gives them that sense of empathy and appreciation for the blessings that they do have and the people in their lives. So books like this, Elsie Dinsmore and Five Little Peppers, I am very grateful for because I see how it impacted my children. So that's something maybe if you want to substitute some of the Rover Boys, but don't do a lot of substitute. At least let them read still a couple of Rover Boys for sure. So that is the RC book list from 11 to 20. And I want to leave you with a quote here from Margaret Sidney in Five Little Peppers Grown Up. I've always found, said Dr. Fisher, springing from his chair, that all you have to do to start a thing was to begin. So if you're thinking about starting the Robinson curriculum, starting the book list, just begin. Just start with book number 1. So you can find reprints on my website, sustainablehomeschooling.com/RC reprints. I'm working on building that list as we speak. And you can also find bookbinding tutorials on YouTube. Type in youtube.com/C/ourhouse, or really if you just search in the search bar, Our House Bookbinding, these are the videos that came up. This is the one that I'm telling you is like my most popular one. I think I was doing 4 Naval Heroes in that one, talking about Epson printer, things like that. And there's a bookbinding playlist that I will link down below. So I encourage you to print if you can. If you have more time than money or than print, but if you have more money than time, more money than time, then buy reprints if you'd like. And also, I just want to invite you to join me if you're interested in the Robinson curriculum, if you are doing it and you want some support. I know that it's not very mainstream, but there is a growing community of like-minded parents. So join us in the Schoolhouse membership. I host live Q&As there, a coffee chat once a month. We have a book club for the parents, read aloud recommendations for you to read aloud to your kids, books that are not on the RC book list, but are high quality. I share private videos, additional training, and my new course, Sustainable Homeschooling 101, that covers mindset, which is critical, the Robinson curriculum in detail, and troubleshooting frequently brought up issues. My couple years of coaching families, I have time and time again seen what are the main issues that keep popping up. So I was able to deal with it in the course and give you the best ideas, strategies, how to overcome them. So all of that is just $10 a month. You can cancel anytime, or you can purchase the year in advance and get 2 months free. So I will link all that in the description below, and I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 3, where we go over the next 10 books on the list. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.